Warning, this podcast was produced by two men who still think that swearing is both big and clever. As a result, it contains quite a lot of it. Therefore, this podcast is not suitable for children, unless they're really fucking cool children. Yes, people, Dave Fensom here with another episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. Man, I'm joined as always by my good friend, Mr. Krista Greer.
Hello, everyone.
And yeah, it's been a minute, man. It's been
Indeed.
a minute.
Yeah, we have been busy boys. We have not been able to do this in a little while.
Busy boys, yeah. This is less of a podcast, more of an occasional series that appears these days.
We'll drop in as and when we feel like it at this point.
Well, it's not even when we feel like it, so we can fucking
when
get them in.
Get it, I know.
But yeah, thank you for bearing with us, and if you haven't removed us from your feed, then we appreciate you. At the end of the last episode, we were saying we were coming back with an Annie Lennox episode.
Yeah, we weren't particularly pleased about that because we thought it was going to be a little bit dull. Yeah. But we thought we're going to have to do it. We have to do it. It's Annie Lennox. She was number one. There you go.
And then we looked at the album, and it turns out it was
all cover versions.
We'd have to fucking do it.
Not an original album. A thing that she did was all covers, and I can't even remember why she did it. It was one of those things that was like contractual fulfillment or something. Anyway, doesn't matter. We can ignore it. Which does mean that because we're now moving on to the next in the line, we're into March of 1995.
Yes, we are.
Celine Dion was back in January of 95. We're now into March. Annie Lennox was only number one for 1 week, but then Celine Dion went back to number one after that.
Because her chart will go on.
Oh, wow.
Do you like that?
Well, like is a strong word.
Well, okay.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to say yes, so that you feel that you have to say nice things about some of the shit I'm about to say.
I don't think that will happen.
Oh, no? Okay. No reciprocation.
Right. No, absolutely not. Don't remember that time you gave me that hand job.
You're still waiting.
Yeah.
Indeed. But we've landed on Elastica's debut album. It's a self-titled album. It was number one for 1 week as well on the 19th of March, 1995.
Yeah.
So almost exactly 30 years ago. We're recording this in mid-February of 2025. 30 years ago, nearly, it was number one. And we are into the Britpop era. We've already seen some of this. We've done Blur, we've done Oasis. We're going to see a lot more of this in this season, in the 1995 season. And
imagine my joy.
I know. Well, this is the thing. I wonder if this is going to be the kind of area where we really split off, you and I, because we've dabbled in the Britpop stuff, but we're going to see so much more of it. And I was ensconced in the middle of Britpop. I was DJing in indie clubs at this point, and so I was in the centre of everything and keeping up with all those things via the music press, and I genuinely enjoyed a lot of this stuff. I was totally fine with a load of indie music, whereas you, by this point, had kind of veered off in a different direction.
Oh, I was vehemently and heavily ensconced in what I would describe as a heavy offensive against a dominating empire.
Absolutely.
I was part of the Rebel Alliance. I couldn't stand this shit when it came out, man. And I'm talking about Britpop in general, not specifically Elastica at this point. There was so much going on musically in the world that I loved and I felt was groundbreaking and changing everything. And then there was Britpop, and I found Britpop leaden and lumpen and full of regressive ideas and full of this kind of stupid flag-waving nationalistic bullshit that I've really never been able to swallow any of. This kind of dumbing down, creating this kind of Britain that doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
And so much of it was populated by art school middle class boys fucking sticking on Jamie Oliver's accent and listening to Dodgy.
Right, sure.
And, and for me it was just this morass of incredibly middle of the road average music that gummed up the airways and filled my life. And I took a personal dislike to a large number of the people that were into it. And I'm the first person to admit that retrospectively I was so blinkered in that ideological argument that there is a good chance that there's quite a lot of bits of good music that I missed. I did not enjoy Pulp at the time,
right?
And I retrospectively enjoy Pulp.
I see.
This is an interesting case study for me, I think.
Good. Well, I was going to say, in '95, you must have been aware of the name. Do you remember any more than, let's say, hearing it in the clubs or on Radio 1 or whatever?
You remember, Elastica was more than just another band coming through. It was a tabloid story as well.
Yes, indeed.
Because obviously you had Justin being the love triangle per se of,
indeed.
Brett Anderson and Damon Albarn. There was all that kind of side connection. They were kind of the poster people for this, which would make me less inclined to enjoy it.
Right. They were very typically, you'd have the photos of them at, let's say, the Good Mixer in Camden, acting the twat, and being linked to, because at the time she was linked to Damon Albarn, she's going out with Damon Albarn, who you absolutely detest.
I fucking hate him.
Exactly. But for anyone who doesn't know, just for background purposes, Justine Frischmann is the lead singer of Elastica, and it's essentially her band. She was going out with Brett Anderson, and they formed Suede kind of together. She was in the first iteration of Suede, but left before they started getting anywhere. But then she started going out with Damon Albarn, and then Elastica became a thing, but she was always linked to Albarn for the period of them being together, which was right through until 1998, so the whole time through.
Yeah, and you couldn't get away from these songs. They were in, the clubs that I was in, these songs were ever present, right?
Sure. You remember them anyway from that.
I remember them, and to be honest with you, much against the tide of everything, I actually liked Connection at the time.
I say, okay.
Because, it's quite hard not to like Connection.
Fine, okay. So you don't have vehement hatred towards the band from back then? Was it more of you fucking hated the whole scene and therefore they were part of the scene? So
and I wouldn't have listened to this record as a point of principle.
Gotcha. Well, you see, I am very much the other side of that because I really enjoyed the singles that I heard. I was waiting for the album to come out. Yeah. I was reading about them all the time because I was keeping up to date with all of those Music Press things. And while I wasn't particularly interested in the Albarn relationship or whatever the band were doing out and about on the town, I was waiting for this album to come out. I was excited and I bought it on day one. I've got the vinyl down there somewhere. I wanted to like this.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of any other background, because there was so much hype about it because of the news stories, this was the fastest selling UK debut album since the Oasis one.
Yeah.
And it held that record until the Arctic Monkeys came along in 2006.
So, that's like 10 years later.
Yeah, indeed. So it sold really fast. It was big hype. It is the only big album they did. They went off the rails afterwards and fell into drug use and people leaving the band, people coming back in until 2000 whenever they released a sort of a mini album almost. It's almost like 6 or 8 tracks. No one gave a shit at that point. And then they broke up.
Yeah.
And so this is essentially the only real Elastica album that anyone gives a shit about. Weirdly, once they broke up, Justine Frischmann then went on, because she was mates with MIA.
Yeah.
And flatmates, and MIA was doing videos and graphic designs for them on the second album.
Yeah.
And she co-wrote Galang.
Yeah.
So 100%. She continued on in music, but not with Elastica. So there was still stuff happening, but this is such a sort of a flash in the pan, one-off thing that it made a huge impact, but then they didn't have anything else really going on afterwards.
Okay, well, let's start with, as we do with the album cover.
Oh, indeed.
This is what you would describe as your classic kind of indie rock, kind of black and white, arty, against a exposed brick wall.
Indeed, all dressed in black.
All dressed in black, looking very kind of arch. Some angular haircuts on the go, people looking in different directions, and a font not a million miles away from the Stranglers font.
Yeah, strange that.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I saw someone say about the album cover as well that they have almost deliberately not tried to play up to the fact that there's 3 women in the band.
Yeah.
There's not here are the girls. There's nothing, trying to be sexy about it. They're not wearing a short skirt or lots of makeup or whatever. It's just everyone dressed in black. They're not trying to be anything apart from here are for musicians, perhaps, or here are just for cool people, whatever it is.
It's very difficult to talk about this album without talking about the concept of cool and the importance of the concept of cool throughout all of this presentation.
Yeah, there's a lot of thought gone into that.
There's an awful lot of effort that goes into effortless cool.
Okay, no, I like that. But in terms of the cover, it's nothing special, but it works for me in a here's an indie band you might want to know more about.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's it's an archetype for a reason. You know, you compare it to Blondie record covers, compare it to Ramones, stuff that lives within that kind of punky, post-punky space. It fits within its oeuvre.
Absolutely. Fine. Okay, well, let's get into it because we've got 15 tracks. There are 15 tracks on this album.
Yeah.
And the full album is only like 40 minutes long.
Yeah. So pretty much nearly everything is under 3 minutes long.
Yeah, it's mad like that. Okay, but we do have a lot of actual songs to get through. So we shall start off with track number 1, which is Line Up. And this was their second single because they released the Stutter as a very limited edition one. And then this was the first one that was kind of more exposure for them. It got to number 20 in February of 1994, so a whole year before this album came out.
So yeah, I mean, it's jaunty enough, isn't it? It's kind of got that kind of indie riff, that kind of big post-punk kind of running bass line underneath.
I love the bass on that, yeah.
Yeah, the unpleasant uhs.
Yeah, right. I remember hearing that and going, is it meant to leave that in? But yeah, even you watch them doing it live, and the drummer is like, bleh, bleh. It's a weird touch.
And there's a lot of stuff throughout this record we're going to find that lives in that production, the filling the back space in the production, which changes the tone of the tracks.
Right, yeah.
For me, this one's got, it's obviously dripping in that kind of British 90s indie archness that, it's part of the thing that I struggle to warm to. It's kind of juxtaposed with the fact that Justine presents this kind of, again, this unflappable, cool wall. Her voice is very, very nice sitting in the mix of this track.
Yeah.
And that is a big distinction. The track, there's obviously some fairly big Blur parallels you can draw on the way that this sound is put together.
Yep.
Like some of kind of early Blur, Graham Cox. Well, not early Blur, but this mid-period Blur kind of guitarist. Yeah.
Wait, you're talking about Justine's voice because, like I say, I probably had heard Stutter before this, but this is the first one I really remember.
Yeah.
And Justine's vocals on this, this was my first introduction to that, and I remember thinking, she's fucking cool. That is a brilliant vocal.
Yeah, and I think
I really fell into that.
I think that's quite.
I loved it.
That's in for so many of these bands. The voice is one of the big greats for me, and this is not that at all.
I see, right? Because sometimes you'll be fine with music, but the vocals put you off. Yeah. You're not getting that vibe here.
Exactly. This doesn't sound like a hugely affected fake accent. I
mean, when you say Britpop was full of middle class boys, this is a woman who was brought up very middle class.
Oh God, I'm well aware
school.
of it.
Yeah,
well
exactly.
Aware.
Her dad was a famous architect. Went to architecture college or whatever you call that. Brought up in a very nice house, and so, but she's not affecting a kind of I'm a working class thing. I mean, it's very laconic.
I mean, there's some. As we go through this record, there's some fags and fucking sausage rolls reference and all that kind of shit.
Very much so.
But at the same time, it's harder for a girl, isn't it? So you kind of have to level the playing field a little bit with your criticisms, I think.
No, that's entirely fair. And it's over. That's 3 minutes 15 of a song, and that's their second single. That's the one that they went, right, we need to make an impact. 3:15 on that. And it's in, and it's done, and it's gone.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, that one, not an enormous impact on me. I kind of listened to that, and I went, I guess this is kind of what I was expecting this to sound like.
Sure, okay.
It's there's some bits of it I don't mind. But overall, that tune itself, there wasn't a groove in it that was kind of catching me.
I see, right.
I'm not going to find myself on the dance floor to that particular tune.
Fine. I think this is great. I love this. I loved it back then, and I still going back to it because I haven't not listened to this album in a long time. I would definitely hear stuff. Obviously, it gets played on whenever Lemac's on Six Music. That's a given. Or if it comes up on Shuffle or something, or it just happens to be on, I like. Oh yeah, this is a great song, and I remember it very well. But listening to it, over and over for this, I was like, I really enjoy this.
Okay.
Lyrically, there's some songs on here that are too obscure for what I can't work out. This one appears to be about a groupie that she's calling Drivelhead. And it's presumably about whenever she was going out with Brett and is going out with Damon, she sees girls flinging themselves at these pop stars.
A bit slut-shamey, innit?
But, it's a 90s, different time.
Different meta.
And so, yeah, it's a woman who just wants to fuck a little rock stars. And but also, I don't think it's necessarily looking down on that woman. I think Justine is trying to warn her off, saying it's not worth it. This is not what you want to do.
Yeah. Musicians
are dicks. Musicians are arseholes. Groupies always just get banged and then chucked in the bin. The whole you're one in a lineup. It's line up in line. It's you're one in a lineup. You will never get what you think you want if you're looking for something more than just a shag. And so she's trying to warn them off, but she's also saying Drivelhead knows all the bands, knows them like the back of her hands. You can't see the wood for the trees on your knees. Yeah. I think that's a great lyric. I think that works really nicely. Question as well about this one. Whenever it came out and I was reading all the reviews, all the music critics were going, oh, well, this sounds like Wire. I mean, were you aware of who Wire were, and were you aware of any of their music in 1995?
I wasn't, no.
I knew that they were a band. I knew the name.
Yeah.
And to be honest, never heard any of the music.
To be honest with you, that's pretty much still where it lives with me now. I mean, I've heard bits and pieces of Wire. Like, that whole kind of new wave scene, I always like when it depends which end of it you're at. I really like a lot of the American kind of new wave and post-new wave stuff. Like, sure. Kind of Talking Heads era, all that kind
Devo,
of stuff.
Yeah.
I fucking love Devo,
sure.
love Talking Heads, I love all that stuff. Stuff that's like the kind of the arse end of British punk, like kind of Jilted John and stuff like that. That kind of stuff that kind of gets folded into the new wave. As well. X-Ray Specs and stuff. I'm less bothered by.
Okay.
I'm less interested in that. I feel like there was an obsession that the British music press got with punk because they claimed it as ours.
Well, indeed, it was,
and they
very much a British thing.
Held on to it with these bloody broken, fucking nicotine-stained fingertips,
right?
To the point that it kind of blinkered them to everything else that they couldn't find adjacent to it. And it was a problem I had with a lot of the writing in The Enemy and The Melody Maker throughout the 90s. It was just like, if it wasn't that and you couldn't draw a line to that or kind of make some kind of mental leap that these things were conforming to this kind of punk paradigm that seemed to be at the heart of everything, it wasn't worth doing. And
I see. Okay.
And I felt like a lot of bands that I liked got dismissed off of the back of that.
But in terms, I had not heard the song that they were saying this is a rip-off of. It was I Am the Fly.
Yeah.
And I remember about a year after this album came out, there was a compilation double CD, the best punk album in the world kind of thing. And I bought it because it was very handy to have for DJing. It had all your big Sex Pistols and Buzzcocks and whatever in one place.
All your tour dates in the back.
But it also had I Am the Fly, because that was the first time I heard it. And I had previously thought, they probably mean it just reminds them a little bit of the guitar sound, or it just recalls the era. But I'll play it for anyone who's not heard this before, because I then went, oh, right. This is Wire, I Am the Fly. And this is the intro. I might skip a little bit because it's when it comes into the main bit. Let me just skip forward. I am the fly in the ointment. I can spend all disease and the fleas which nibble away. But yeah, line up in line, line up in line. It really is.
Oh yeah. It's
a direct lift.
100%.
Yeah. And so there was a court case, and there was few court cases.
Yes, there were.
This was one of the court cases, and there was an out-of-court settlement.
Yeah.
So it's understandable why Elastica, or whoever was in charge of Elastica's legal team, went, I'm not going to contest this.
Nah.
I have no case.
Yeah, this is like when we listen to Ghostbusters and Huey Lewis.
Oh, yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's the same song.
Of course it
is.
Yeah.
But I do. I genuinely like that. I think it's also a really good album opener. I think it sets out the stall. It's a little bit scathing about the scene. It's funny. It's definitely very arch, all those things, but I think it's really catchy. Yeah. I think it's really, really good as a track 1 on this album.
Cool. Well, let's do track 2. This one's called Annie.
This sounds like a Green Day song to me. If you take her off...
It sounds completely like... I've got that. It sounds completely like Green Day.
Doesn't it? If you had Billy Joe Armstrong singing this...
Yeah. I've heard a million songs that sound like this. You know, I listened to a lot of pop punk in the 90s.
Sure, yeah.
I've heard this song a lot of times. You know, the positives, really good energy. Justin's voice sounds really, really good.
Yeah.
But this is super lightweight, super disposable, super forgettable.
And the shortest song on the album, 1 minute 14.
Yeah. It's fine.
So this wasn't a single. This was like just an album track. And so I wasn't sure if I was going to remember any of the album tracks.
Yeah.
But I listened to this a lot back in the day, and this instantly came back to me.
Yeah.
Instantly.
I feel like this used to get played out.
Very possible, because you can see this working on a dance floor.
Because what I can't work out is whether I've heard this before or whether I've heard a lot of other stuff that sounds like it.
Fair enough. I think the verse is good. I think the chorus on this is really good.
Well, she's got an ear for a chorus, man.
Oh, mate, straight up.
Got a fucking ear for a chorus.
Straight up.
And yeah, there's the start of it there. I think maybe if that song was longer...
Oh, there's a couple where I think, if you'd done another verse chorus, I'd have been fine with that. But, I mean, there's a quote. Let me find the quote here. Justine gave an interview with The Guardian back in the early 2000s. She says, I have a low boredom threshold. I want the best bits. Verse, chorus, that's it. The whole thing of playing middle eights and triple choruses to finish isn't music, it's brainwashing. If you want to hear the chorus again, rewind it. So yeah, she is very determined.
Justine's got ADHD. It becomes incredibly clear lyrically throughout this record. Justine's got ADHD, guys.
There you are. Diagnosed, Dr. Dave on the case.
All right, well, let's do. Sorry.
Just in terms of Annie, I always thought it was about their bass player, Annie. I didn't really know why, because I'd not listened to it. I don't listen to lyrics in general. And especially when it's kind of fast and punky, and like, fuck it, it runs over my head. But I don't know. It seems to be maybe about going on a pub crawl by the sea. One of those sorts of just throwaway things. But it's fucking minute long, this song. It could be about anything. It doesn't really matter to me. But I think the song is a winner. I really like that chorus. And a lot of the reason I like the song is Justine's delivery again in this. Because if it had been a Billy Joe Armstrong vocal, it would have sounded like Green Day and it would have been fine. I much prefer that it's this.
I completely concur with you on that.
I like that. Fine, okay.
So track number 3 is the already mentioned Connection, a staple of our youth, I would say.
Oh yeah, this was everywhere. And this was the third single, came in October 94, got to number 17.
And that keyboard part is also supposedly a wire bit, isn't
it? Yes. Yeah. And it's by Damon Albarn. That's Damon Albarn on keys.
Yeah. Anagram Damon Albarn. But that fucking, that drop, that... Yeah, this is... I thought this was a tune at the time.
Isn't it, though?
This is an undeniable tune. Again, it's stupidly cool.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this... talk about an arch vocal.
Yeah.
You know, there's a sneer behind every word here.
And it's just like that voice and the way it's produced, how it sits up on top of the mix, like you say, like it sits down, like kind of looking down at you, right? In the way that I guess music, good, cool music should, right?
Right, sure.
I feel like if anything would have turned me to the indie song,
something like this.
It was something like this.
Okay. Yeah, no, I remember this coming out, and I was instantly a fan of the song. I was also a fan of it because it was such an obvious indie dance floor tune. It's like, as soon as it came out, there's one of your peak time floor fillers. But
do you know what I tell you? What I don't think this sounds like. I think there are elements and production elements of it that make it sound like Britpop, right? Mm-hmm. But I think when you strip it down, this has got a lot more in common with some of the alt rock that's coming out of the States at the time, and it almost feels like it's more of a natural bedfellow for some of the early 2000s kind of more dance rocky stuff that came out. Like we mentioned,
right,
like Arctic Monkeys already, also like Franz Ferdinand.
Strokes.
Yeah, I think this was like a good 5 or 6 years ahead of its time.
I do too. I mean, and it was lumped in with Britpop, but that was, I think, for two reasons. Because she had been linked to Brett and to Damon, but also it was in the time when the press had decided, well, Britpop's happening. Yeah. So if anything is coming out of England, especially, it's Britpop.
But so much in that, like the riffs, the fucking composition, those hand claps.
Oh, I love
the way
those hand
it
claps
all
at the end.
Fucking pulls together, mate. It's an indie dance floor 10 out of 10, and there's a reason why it's like out of all of that fucking genre, one of the only things that charted in the States and did any numbers in the States.
This is absolutely true, yeah. So many of those Britpop bands didn't. They tried and they failed hard. This album did well over there, and this single did very well for them. They got the notice. They did Lollapalooza the summer of '94, I think. They did a few tours of the States, supported some really interesting people.
And maybe it's my Yankophile kind of brain, because obviously most of my favourite bands are American bands, that this connects with me as much as it does. But, for me, that's a hard yes. And and looking back, if it were, I kind of wish it hadn't had all the stuff around it, because it would have made me look at this record earlier.
If it hadn't had the baggage.
Yeah.
I think that one of the reasons that this did make it in the States is because if you look at the ones that didn't do, like Blur and Oasis, Oasis did to an extent, but it was a longer tail on them, I think. But especially Blur, they were so kind of Small Faces, Kinksy, that sort of style. Yeah. Which wouldn't mean anything. They wouldn't give a shit to your standard Yank. But the new wave, the Blondie, the Stranglers, the Wire, even whatever, those influences, the Cars, even that is going to cross over more for an American, I think, in the mid-90s than any of the very oi oi, let's go down the pub Cockney shit that was going on. This is not a Britpop album. It's just happened to be at the time of Britpop. I'm so glad you said that, because I like pretty much everything I'm going to say throughout the rest of this kind of echoes. I don't think this is a Britpop album at all. No, it just happened to be at the same time.
Yeah, very much so.
And also, whenever they first were doing stuff, the press tried hard to lump them into the new wave of new wave scene. But it turns out that the band deliberately took 6 months off doing any press or any performances after they released Lineup. They took 6 months off in '94 because they didn't want to get lumped into a scene. They didn't want to talk to the press and then go, well, where are we going to fit Elastica in? Oh, we'll just put them beside Smash. We'll put them beside These Animal Men. So they just hid themselves away. They practiced. They fucking wrote some songs for the album, but they didn't play the game, and because they deliberately did not want to be in that new wave. Yeah. Fair play to them. Why would you want to be in that fucking ridiculous scene?
It wasn't a scene. It was a fucking anyway.
No, it was two people at Melody Maker had decided, let's give this shit a go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Again, this was another one that Wire had a little thing to say, and similarly, I did not know the song Three Girl Rumba that all the critics were going, this song's like Three Girl Rumba. If you listen to it now, oh yeah, that's a little bit similar. Yeah. So again, settle out of court.
yeah. Agree to disagree.
I mean, my God.
Yeah. I mean, that's
it really is.
Yeah, you kind of get it, didn't you?
I did also see that whenever Justine, because Justine and the drummer Justin, they were the ones that originally formed Elastica, and they put an ad in the Melody Maker looking for bassist and guitarist. And Donna, the guitarist, auditioned after seeing the ad, which said that we are looking for someone who's influenced by The Fall, The Stranglers, and Wire.
Yeah.
And so, like, they're not even pretending.
Yeah. So you can't be like, oh, no, I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, exactly. We want anyone influenced by that and not ashamed to just play those songs.
Yeah. Anyone want to be in a covers band?
Yeah, precisely. But I think that's a fantastic song, brilliant single, and it got them so much attention. Deserved.
But look, right, here's the thing. I don't think you can sit and be a fan of hip-hop and like particularly the era of hip hop that we particularly like,
Sure.
you can make moralistic arguments about plagiarism, but repurposing a riff and putting it into a different context and reusing it and making, you know, a better song.
Yep.
That's kind of what hip hop has
always
essentially has been about.
It
So,
really is.
you know, from a, you know, I get the argument, but at the same time, you know, the songs themselves tonally sound quite different. The you know, you can hear the elements and go, that's the same, absolutely, and you can understand why you ain't going to get paid for that. However, the thing you've created still stands on its own.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
if there were shit songs, I would have a very different view of it, because I'm like, well, you've just done yourself out of any goodwill, and not got a fucking good song out of it. But I think Connection's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also one of the ones that it was on like TV and films all the time. It was like such a recognisable riff that if you wanted a scene that was in a student party or something and there's something cool playing in the background, stick Connection on.
100%.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, so that's track number 3.
Track number 4 is called Car Song.
Right. And again, this was released as a single, but only in America and Australia. So it was like the 5th single, the last one off the album, but not in the UK.
This sounds like fucking like Deus all Rage Against the Machine. Yeah.
Apparently there is a video for this because it was released as a single.
Okay.
Directed by Spike Jonze.
Fuck off.
I know. I had no idea. I watched it, and it's probably the cheapest Spike Jonze video I've ever seen. And I've seen Praise You.
Yeah.
It's got 3 members of the band running around a futuristic Tokyo, chasing a ghost in a weird space car.
That doesn't sound easy to do cheaply. Or is it
Trust
done
me.
badly?
Trust me. And then they fight Godzilla at the end, which is very obviously a plastic toy.
Yeah.
But it's got like Justine and Donna in very tight PVC. And I very much enjoyed that.
I mean, so this is a dirty song.
It's filth.
It's a song about banging on stroke in cars.
Exactly. The Wikipedia description of this song is 2 lines long. It says, Car Song was written by Elastica's lead singer Justin Frischman. The song is about having sex in a car.
Yeah. Or on a car.
Or on a car. Yeah.
You can't be in a bonnet.
No.
Well, you can if you're wearing a bonnet.
Every shining bonnet makes me think of my back on it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, look. It's quite blurry, this one, again.
No, I say, okay. I hadn't thought of that, but yes, it realistically is.
It's that kind of girls versus boys kind of.
Okay.
But you know what? I really like the multi-layered chaos of this.
Yeah.
In a way that I like this one a lot, man. This is kind of the point in the record where I start finding my groove with it.
Oh, good. Lovely. I think this is fucking brilliant.
I love this.
This is easily my favourite so far. And I remember when the album came out, this was one I would always try and play in the clubs as a non-album one early on because I thought it was fucking brilliant.
Yeah. No, I think this is great.
Yeah, so good, so good. It's so catchy.
Yeah.
It's so incredible. But it's this chorus. Here we go again. It's very cheesy lines, but it's a wink and a nod.
Yeah.
You know, it's let's go siesta in your Ford Fiesta. Wink, wink. It's such a tongue-in-cheek song.
Mate. If you had, in 2025, female artist released this album, if this album had never existed and was existed in almost its exact form now, I think this album would have the fucking music critics going fucking insane for it.
Look how they went for Wet Leg. Absolutely. The world would be at their feet with this. I genuinely think so, because so far I think we've had 4 really good tunes.
Yeah.
You know, some of them fucking a minute long. Just bam, bam, bam. It's hit. Yeah. I think this is, so far, 4 out of 4 for me. Really fucking good.
Yes, it's not 4 for me. I've got nothing that I dislike so far, but for me, there's an on-ramp. It kind of goes, that's okay, that's a bit forgettable, that's fucking brilliant. Okay, I'm starting to feel where this is going.
We're getting into it. Right, lovely.
So next one's called Smile.
Smile. Right, so track number 5.
So we're in that like 3-chord punk territory
Very
here.
much so, yeah. Really are. That drum fading in on the drums. Bam, bam, bam.
So like this is just like a fucking sheer like punk rock propulsion through its verses, right?
Yes. And it's only 1 minute 40 long.
Yes.
Again, no fucking about. That's a fucking brilliant tune there.
Yeah.
That vocal line.
And that bass line underneath. I mean, that's like...
Yeah, I don't really know what this is about, looking at the lyrics.
No clue.
Don't care. Do not care. Justine once said in another interview, she said, in the same way that I think a partly clothed body is sexier than a naked one, it's more interesting to do a partly cloaked lyric than a blatant one. Yeah. She likes being obscure. She likes playing with, interpret this yourself.
Yeah, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
I really like this.
It's fantastic. Whenever I was looking at the names of the songs, coming back after such a long time, I didn't remember what the Smile was at all, but as soon as this started, that 1, 2, 3, I was like, oh yeah, this one.
There's just so many little fucking inflections of her voice, man.
It's so cool, man.
It's very so cool. Fucking cool, man.
Yeah. And because I was much more keeping track of Elastica and seeing the videos and looking at the press, I had a huge crush on both Justine and Donna, the guitarist. And the insouciance and the coolness and all that stuff adds so much. It's just what I was head over heels for that as well. Fucking loved it. Okay, well, so you track 5 Smile, you're a winner on that.
100%, yeah.
Great. I think it's brilliant. I do think that's brilliant. Well, okay, so that's the first third of the album, and it's probably taken us 11 minutes long.
Yeah, right?
Because that's what they do. But, we're a third of the way through, so we'll do some albums.
Let's do it.
The albums, the top 10 is Beautiful South, carrying up the charts, number 10.
Fuck 'em.
Blur, Park Life, number 9.
Fuck 'em.
Number 8 is Stevie Wonder with Conversation Peace.
Fuck him
and
too. No, I'm joking.
PEACE. I don't remember that album.
No, I don't know.
One bit. Not a clue. Number 7, Panpipe Moods with Free the Spirit.
Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them. Number 6, though, is Radiohead's The Bends.
Yeah.
And that's the first time we've seen that come in. Obviously, we had, I think, one of the singles we had in a previous one. But The Bends, top 10 this week. And that is probably one of my favourite albums of the 90s. I mean, I don't know if it's... Well, maybe top 10.
Let's not give too much away. Let's do that next.
Fucking brilliant. Oh well, here's number 5. Faith No More, King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime.
Well, I mean, it's the second best Faith No More album
after their greatest hits.
No. Again, it's a record that we should do, but probably can't.
It's one of those, yeah.
But we should do Radiohead.
I think Radiohead would be a very interesting one. I'd like to get into that and do a special on that.
Let's do that.
I think it would be lovely because it was never number 1.
Yeah, well, let's do it next. That's the next episode. Radiohead.
Great, done, bam. So we've got Faith No More at 5.
I mean, that's so good that Faith No More entered the charts at number 5 in the UK.
Huge.
Like America kind of forgets Faith No More happened after this because they just disappeared. So like America were like, Faith No More, Big Sick Ugly Jim Martin, and I don't know, they released Angel Dust and did Midlife Crisis and they disappeared. Well, fuck it. But this is one of the most eclectic. Like, for me, Angel Dust versus King for a Day. It's which mood am I in? Really? Right. I mean, Angel Dust tips the scales for me, but
we could also presumably it hit you at the right time as well.
I was a fan of Faith No More on From Out of Nowhere, but I kind of wasn't tuned in enough to metal to know that Angel Dust was coming out, so I couldn't be a first day of release guy for that. Sure. Whereas this, I was like counting the days.
Oh, you were rabid.
I had it day of. I took time off work to go and get it, so I had shit. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. Yeah.
But you were ready for it, and it hit the spot for you as well.
100%, man.
Lovely. Number 4 is Bruce Springsteen's Greatest Hits. Number 3 is Celine Dion's Colour of My Love, which was our last one. And number 2 was Annie Lennox Medusa, which is the one we decided, fuck that noise.
We're very similar to Ali G's Me Julie.
Medusa. I would have loved to have heard Annie Lennox just like a ragga song. But we do have a shit ton of other albums. Yeah. So the period we're looking at is March the 5th till April the 1st. So we've got nearly a month's worth of album releases here. Moby released Everything Is Wrong, got number 21. By this point, I didn't really give a shit about Moby.
Well, no, that's still pre-play.
It's pre-play, but it's after Go and
it's after Go. Yeah.
So I don't know what.
So because he did that fucking punk album as well in the middle, didn't he?
Yeah, but I don't think it was that one.
No, I don't know.
Not sure, but yeah, it got to 21. So it's not. It's not a complete flop. But yeah, I don't remember it at all. Yeah. Mad Season released Above, got number 41.
Just been vinyl re-released as well.
I think it has, yeah. You a fan of that at the time?
Do you know what? It was one of those records I didn't have at the time, and I didn't have a copy of, but I kind of would hear bits of it, but I never knew it as well. And it was just one of those albums that kind of, but by the time I had the money for it, something else was out.
Yeah.
You know? But I've gone back to it over the years, and it's a fucking brilliant record.
Right.
It's a brilliant, brilliant record.
Nice. Then we've got These Animal Men, released Taxi for These Animal Men, only got to number 64, so that's what hyping up on New Wave will get for you. Gene released Olympian, got to number 8. The Orb released Orbis Terrarium, got to number 20, and that was well past any time I gave a shit about the Orb.
No.
You know, we did UF Orb, and that was already me going, there's a little bit past it for me now. I remember this coming up. I think I bought this because I was like, fuck it, I'll buy it.
I mean, it's still going.
I know, yeah. Tupac released Me Against the World, only got to number 90 in the UK.
Yeah.
Again, I was not even aware of Tupac in 1995, I don't think.
I knew who Tupac was by 1995.
Yeah.
I was never the big Tupac guy, man.
No,
California Love, I suppose California Love was 96. Coming soon.
Yeah, I think it was the following year. That was the first I was like, oh, this is Tupac, because it had a pop hit. Yeah.
But Dear Mama you must have known like Dear Mama and stuff.
I mean, I was...
Mama in Love with a Gangster?
No, I don't remember that. I remember Dear Mama, I was aware of it, and I think I bought it thinking I might need to play this in the kind of student clubs, and it was really slow and almost about. I was like, well, no, I'm not playing that. I thought it was dull as shit. Ned's Atomic Dustbin released Brain Blood Volume, which was kind of, again, the tail end of Ned's Atomic Dustbin. Morphine released Yes.
Brilliant record.
I know you're a fan of Morphine. Did you ever see them live? Or is that one of the ones that never did? Oh, shit, no, you had tickets, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh, that's what it is.
And he died like about 3 fucking dates before.
That's the one.
I have, I think I've done this on the podcast before, but I have seen like the remainders of Morphine were getting together and playing a bar in Boston, and my cousin Megan took me to see that, and it was fucking wonderful. One of the, really, really strong, fun memories of that. Great.
In a similar, not similar, in a sort of similar vein, we've got Red House Painters released Ocean Beach, passed me by. Smog released Wild Love, also passed me by. It was highly touted, but I didn't get into it. Wilco released AM, their debut album, and people love Wilco.
I've never listened to Wilco.
It's not my thing. PJ Harvey released To Bring You My Love, that got to number 12, and that's a good album. That is a strong album. The Fall released Cerebral Caustic, got to number 67, but I've never liked The Fall. I suspect it sounds like every other Fall album.
Again, I've not really. Where would you even start with the Fall these days?
No idea. Old Dirty Bastard released Return to the 36 Chambers.
Yeah.
And I remember that coming out because I don't think I had it at the time, but I remember Shimmy Shimmy Yo.
Yeah. I mean, Shimmy Shimmy Yo is an absolute high point of the Wu-Tang catalogue. And Return to the 36 Chambers is an album of various bits of fucking charm. It's an album you can listen through to, and every track there will be some part of Old Dirty Bastard that'll make you go, oh yeah, right?
Yeah, right.
It's what it isn't is an album full of great songs.
Sure.
Okay? And some people will go, oh, what are you fucking talking about? It's brilliant. Of that first run of Wu-Tang solo albums, when they were all putting one out, and it's probably the lesser of them.
I remember we were talking one time, we were trying to put together like a top 5 Wu-Tang offshoot albums, and I think this one didn't even make your top 5.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't. I mean, it's Old Dirty's second record, which had all the Neptunes production on it.
I really like that.
Which is called
Gentlemen
Please.
Yep.
That's a much better album, a much more consistent record overall. It's one of those things where it's better from not having lots of RZA production on it.
Fine.
You know?
Yeah. Big L released Lifestyles of Dapur and Dangerous.
Big L, rest in peace.
Indeed, as you have to say, it's the law. I wasn't aware of Big L at all at this point.
Do you know, I wasn't either. I wasn't aware of Big L until he died and Gangstar started shouting out about it.
Yeah, just to hear that all the time.
And, you know, Big L, what a talent. You know, we lost a lot of good records there, potentially.
Right. I wasn't aware of that album especially at the time. Couldn't even tell you. James Taylor Quartet released In the Hands of the Inevitable, got to 63, and I suspect that sounds like all the other James Taylor Quartet. There's going to be a couple of good tunes on there, and then a lot of noodling. Bruce Dickinson released Alive in Studio A, and it got to number 96 in the charts.
And that was probably about 300 places too high for what I could only imagine was a terrible piece of shit.
I bet you it's awful. Yeah. I bet you it's terrible. I wonder, because it's called Alive in Studio A, if it's him doing live versions or something. I don't know. I've not looked into it.
I think I can just live the rest of my life
totally happy,
free of that knowledge.
Yeah, no problem. Hootie and the Blowfish released Cracked Rear View, got to number 12 in the UK. Yeah. I don't remember them being big in the UK at all.
I mean,
I knew the name, but I didn't know they were a hit.
Hootie and the Blowfish, one of those bands that you probably get played a load of their songs and be like, oh, that's them, is it?
Yeah, never knew.
For me, they just sound like a band that wear funny hats. I couldn't tell you, but I feel like there's a lot of knitwear.
I feel like they're Counting Crows, but worse.
Yeah, I just,
you know.
Yeah, I feel that some of the guys go to a drum circle.
Right. Yeah.
It's just all of it. It's got bad. It's got a bad feeling around it to me. I don't like it.
Fine. Well, I shan't tell you any more about it. Pop Lead itself released Two Fingers, My Friends, which was a remix album of Tostados Mis Amigos, got number 25. EMF released Cha Cha Cha, got number 30, and that was their third album.
Yeah.
Who knew they had a third album? Wow. The Presidents of the USA, their self-titled, came out, and it didn't get anywhere at this point, but it was re-released the following year and got to number 14.
Yeah.
And they were good fun. They were a singles band, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the lead... What was the lead single of this? Yeah, Lump. I remember Lump coming out and being like, I really like this. And then them kind of disappearing and not hearing anything. And then Peaches hit.
Yeah.
And then Peaches became annoying.
Oh, I see. But yeah, it was huge.
But I really liked Lump.
Yeah. I suspect what happened was Lump came out at this release, and then Peaches would have been the next year or something, and that's why they re-released the album.
Without a doubt,
yeah.
In fact, I've got Lump on. I've got a compilation of songs that make me happy. And
it's a good fun tune. Jimmy Nail released Crocodile Shoes, one for the True Cult Pop Boys there.
Jimmy Shoe released Crocodile Nails.
Yeah, indeed. And then the last one I've got a note of, only got to number 51 in the charts, but Monster Magnet released Dopes to Infinity. And that's a fucking album.
What an album!
Oh my goodness me!
Yeah. I mean, one of the absolute best. I would love to do a special on it. I don't think I would have enough different to say about it than we had on Superjudge. Even though Dopes to Infinity is infinitely the superior album.
It's probably my favourite of their albums.
It's a toss up for me between that and Power Trip.
Yeah, sure.
And I like them both for different reasons. And I'd say there's a certain amount of kind of enjoying the irony of Space Lord, whereas Dopes to Infinity is just like fucking. This is just a man out of his mind on drugs, and I love it.
It's a journey into Windorville. Yeah, wonderful stuff. Yeah,
what a record!
If you have any interest in kind of that slightly psychedelic 90s rock,
slightly.
Yes, I said
very,
very psychedelic, but not in a weak way. It's still fucking chugging riffs.
It's weird. It kind of hits that weird sweet spot because it's a psychedelic record. So it's got that bit of Hawkwind, but then that bit of MC5, and it's got that bit of kind of Caius and the stoner rock stuff that's going on.
Big stoner rock thing.
It's got grooves that you just could fucking carve rocks with.
Down.
Yeah,
big Sabbath riffs.
Yeah, like if you listen to this, you like Clutch, and you've never listened to that era of Monster Magnet, then you're going to love it. It's so good, man. It's so good.
Yep. Good. All right. Well, that's a nice way to finish off the albums. And for a month's worth of releases, we say this all the time. I know we say this all the time, but 4 fucking weeks. You've got Morphine. You've got PJ Harvey, you got Monster Magnet, Mad Season even, but then you got Radiohead and you got Faith No More. That's insane.
Yeah, it is ridiculous, man.
Fucking stupid.
It is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, God.
The 90s, we didn't know. We didn't know. We thought this would go on forever.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, so that's the albums. Let's crack back into the Elastica album. So track number 6 is Hold Me Now. Oh, it's a different beginning. It's like this disco. That's a bit Girls and Boys, actually. Blurred Girls and Boys.
Well, this is a bit like that kind of LCD system.
This as well,
disco shuffle.
Sure.
This is like low-slung post-punk with just this lovely pop infusion to it.
That's what the thing. There is the pop bit over all of these songs so far. None of it is too introverted and it's cool, but it's no fun. There's always something.
This could almost be Prince.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm getting Blondie off this for sure. definitely that, and all that ilk that we've talked about. So they've not strayed too far from their path. But again, the chorus coming in here, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, this is wonderful.
This is so cool, man. I fucking love this. This chorus is so effortlessly cool.
The lyrics in this, man. It's hard to make a stew when the meat keeps looking up at you.
It's excellent.
Brilliant.
Yes.
And they said, listen ironically, listen to the meat hooks on this chorus.
Okay. It's incredibly catchy. Yeah, it's a chorus to die for, and on not a throwaway song, but it's an album track. It's a little bit more lightweight than others, but there's so much going on.
It's so short, you couldn't get bored of it.
No. And this is definitely one where I thought, okay, I could do another 45 seconds, a minute of this. Do this chorus one more time, even. Just run it through. So laconic delivery on this. And I'd say in my personal rankings of songs called Hold Me Now, I think this is... It's below the Thompson Twins, but it's above Johnny Logan.
Fair enough,
I think that's where it sits.
Nice.
I give it that for in the Hold Me Now charts. But yeah, no, I think this is brilliant. It's so many of these that if you'd wanted to, you could have put this out as a single.
100%.
You could that would get radio play. Mm-hmm. That would have been another one that I could have played at an indie disco.
She's got an ear for a chorus, man, like I said before.
Really has. And there was definitely talk at the time of, oh, well, is Damon writing these songs? Mm-hmm. There was all that. And you're probably right, there's influences and some bits that sound like that thing. Mm-hmm. Whether or not they were maybe being influenced by the same pool of other bands, perhaps there's some of that. Mm-hmm. Maybe he was giving some things like, oh, have you tried this or whatever? I don't know, and I don't really give a shit. I think Justine probably is a fantastic songwriter in her own right and could have done this if she had nothing to do with Damon Albarn. Mm-hmm. I genuinely get that impression.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah, well, you know my feelings on Damon Albarn.
Well, indeed. Cool, okay, so that's track 6, and again, I'm like, yes, I'm 6 for 6. So I'm fucking loving this so
the
far.
Next one is called Soft.
Yes, indeed, S-O-F-T. I've got a much slower intro here. A different kind of sound.
It's kind of sci-fi, Sonic Youthy.
That squealing guitar there.
I'm going to get a big bass line just drop underneath.
Bam! Just crashing in. This huge pounding beat. But yeah, and the big bass underneath as well.
And fucking, look, man. This
doesn't
all
sound drops out again.
How the fuck does this sound like Oasis or the fucking Blue Tones?
No, it doesn't. It just does not. Bam, back in. Yeah.
Oh, come
So
on.
fucking good. I remember this so well from the time. This was one that I tried very hard to play out as well. Car Song and this were the ones that really got me.
Do you hear a bit of Velvet Underground in this?
I can see what you're saying. I can see that. But again, this chorus, fucking hell, man. This is just incredible.
It's in that layering. It's the way that the fucking backing vocals subvert the tune.
Right, yeah. It's kind of up and in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that do in the background, whatever's going on. I think this is like almost a perfect song.
This just sounds so fucking new, man.
Absolutely. I might try and if we're staying for a drink after hours with me and my staff.
Yeah.
They're all, early 20s or whatever. I might try and play some of these and see, what do you reckon? Does this sound like it could be released today? Because I bet you they don't know it.
Someone will say to you, it's not as good as the Lamborghini girl say.
Well, yeah.
And then you'll have to fire them.
That's a shame. That's a real shame. And this one, so as far as I can tell, lyric-wise, it seems to be like the lure of fame and then the reality that you're excited about. First of all, telling your mum you're going to be on the telly, and it says the devil, who's probably the record company, says they're going to take you to the top. They promise you, all the riches in the world, But then it says, now that you're heaven bent and it pays the rent, is it hard to stop? So you're already going, oh, what have I put myself in for here? And then verse 2, your mum sees you on the TV, but it's when you're out shit-faced and you're on the news, puking into a drain or whatever. You find yourself in a dress too small to be a dress, just going through the motions. And you're locked into this, and this is not what you thought fame was going to be. It turns out SOFT stands for same old fucking thing.
Yeah.
That's what the song is about. It's about just getting what you want, and then you're like, I didn't want this. Yeah. And this is a song they wrote before their album had even been released.
Justine's got ADHD. I'm telling you. Welcome to my shitty life.
There you go. But yeah, I guess Justine had seen it happen with Suede and Blur and was able to go, oh, here's your pitfalls. But yeah, I think this is absolutely fantastic, this song. I fucking love it.
Yeah, this is one of the best ones on the record.
It's so good. And again,
one of the longest ones as well.
It is. Oh, and this drum beat coming back in. It's so... It's not like difficult or anything, but it just works for me. Yeah, fucking love this. So yeah, I think this is probably my favourite so far on the record.
Yeah,
I mean, just wonderful.
Outside of Connection, but
Sure.
it's just because it's so difficult to disconnect that because you've heard it so many more times than anything else.
Oh mate, that's the thing for me. You know, the singles, I still really enjoy them, but I heard them 5 times a week.
Yeah,
you know, back at that time, I was playing them all the time, and then hearing them on the radio or seeing them on TV, loved them, but. Overplay.
Lovely. Unless I would imagine we've all got the same first 5 words as we go into the next song, which is called
number 8.
Yeah, Indian song.
Song.
Should we just say them together?
Please do. 1, 2, 3.
Bit of an Eastern feel. There we go.
Yes.
I think I'd have probably left this one for Cooler Shaker.
Really, I've got a Cooler Shaker note in mine as well.
Yeah, of course you have.
Absolutely. And the thing, right? I'm going to say up front that I have nothing against a band, even a band full of white people, fucking middle-class English people, doing a song with influences from Indian music. No problem. You know, the Beatles ones that they did, great fun. Really good. I like a couple of those Cooler Shaker songs, but you don't call it Indian song.
Oh, God, no.
You don't go, what are we going to call this? Is there anything in the lyrics we can take out of this and put it in? And someone's just gone, fucking just call it Indian song, couldn't we?
Bangladeshi ballads.
Yeah, it's like, God's sake. Oh, dear. It's a strange decision.
For me, it feels a bit theme park and a bit naff, doesn't it?
It also feels entirely unnecessary. If you look at the vinyl, it's at the end of side 1. And so I don't know if they were supposed to be thinking, all right, we're going to send side 1 off on this weird thing before we go back into the real shit. I don't know. Yeah.
And look, as it gets slightly less archly fucking tabla and sitar based, and it drifts into this psychedelic bit, it starts to feel like it's going to build to something, and then it kind of just fizzles away.
Sure, but I don't think there's anything wrong with the song. I
think there's quite a few things wrong with the song.
I think this is pleasant enough.
I think all of the stuff at the start is comedically jarring.
Really? Okay.
For a band whose stock in trade is fucking being cooler than everyone, this is fucking Spinal Tap.
Oh, okay. No, yes. True.
So this is like an aching clanger. This is this is the first clue that people are doing too many drugs.
I mean, it definitely sounds that way, but weirdly, they weren't really doing drugs. Well, Justine wasn't doing drugs at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
she started fucking catching up pretty soon after.
Right. I mean that skag is quite Moorish.
Yes.
I just think this is a big misstep. This one.
Fine. No, I would have left it off.
Frustratingly, it comes in from Connection to there. It's just this fucking solid.
You're solid on that, yeah.
And you know,
it takes you out of that for sure. Right. Okay. Well, let's decide that. Were we the record? If we were Steve Lamacq, in charge of the record company, we'd have had a can of Strongbow, smoked 10 Marlboro, and gone, let's leave this off the record.
And looked at our collection of Union Jack soft furnishings, right, and our World War II memorabilia, and gone. I reckon Steve Lamacq pushed harder than anyone for that song.
I bet you he heard Paul Weller do his Indian Vibes thing, the Mathar thing, and went, yeah, man, it's going to be cool. Stick it in.
Do you reckon Stephen Mac hates Joe Wiley?
I mean, I think everyone hates Joe Wiley. I think that's just the default position to be in.
But imagine having spent that much time with her in the 90s.
Yeah.
And like being in a record label and being like, you're just a mum that talks funny.
Yeah.
Pretends to like fans.
Takes your shoes off in the studio,
Oh, yeah. I tell you what, I bet the conversation was, played the album and Joe Wiley went, no, you've got to leave that one in.
Oh, but that'll be great for my yoga class.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We'll put that on at the fucking drum circle. Right, anyway.
Yeah,
so,
okay, let's
let's
leave
that
that in the past.
Next one is called Blue.
Blue, number 9.
And this one's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because the song Tender was written about Justin Frischman.
It was.
And this sounds like fucking Tender by
Oh,
Blur.
I see, right. See, to me, this sounds like pod-era Breeders.
Okay.
With that kind of swirly, a little bit shoegazy, but kind of grungy, guitar-y thing. But I see what you're saying. But yeah, Tender was 1998.
Yeah.
99, I think that was. Yeah. But then it comes in and it's like, yeah. Back into Elastica territory. And this sounds more like, right, we'll get to it, but Stutter to me, where it's more straight ahead, not as sneery, for example, or as art. It's more straightforward indie.
So again, this is, when we talk about that Jilted John bit of new wave, that kind of more punky. But again, with this fucking super glossy pop sheen.
Yeah.
The smash hits sheen.
Right, sure. And that chorus.
And this, listen to it, it's so gorgeous. It's just, again, this is a brief slice of inventive, punky fun.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's nearly gone.
But the backing vocals on this, that chorus effect they have on it, whatever they're doing, the harmonies, it makes it sound sometimes a bit like whatever Lush were doing there, Britpoppy era stuff. It sounds like all those things, but it works so well, the whole thing together. Yeah.
It's spectacular, it feels weird because obviously I'm like, why isn't this more talked about? This was a fucking number 1 album.
Yeah.
This was the biggest thing in the world, biggest thing in the game, But it still feels, from the point of view of the way we talk about other bands from that era, this feels massively underrated.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree. And I think if I had to try and recommend an album, let's say I was given the Enemy's top 50 albums of 1995, and I had to recommend one for someone today who hadn't heard any of them to go into. Okay, fair enough. I'm probably going to say the Bends, for example, whatever. But this is going to be high up on there. I think this is more people should have heard this.
This is in the same way that no one ever goes, that fucking great Britpop band Radiohead. I don't understand why this doesn't. Well, I do understand because it's lazy journalism and because she was fucking someone from another band, right? And I get it. And God, what a fucking horribly reductive thing. And like I say, it's fucking difficult to be a woman, right?
There are interviews with Justine around the second album, and then 10 years after she's been out of the music business forever, where she looks back and goes, "You guys were fucking dicks to us. The music press were absolutely awful." And being a woman in a band meant there was no privacy, and anything you did was scrutinised so much more than had it been someone from fucking These Animal Men or whatever. Yeah. It's just, it's bullshit. I don't really know what these lyrics are about in general. There's a bit where it says, "I can read your mind if you want to. I will let you blue." And blue is being spelled like the colour, BLUE. Yeah. And so I'm not sure if...
Well, as opposed to what, BLOO, the toilet cleaner.
Exactly. I don't know if...
I know it's been blue.
Exactly, yeah. But is it an allusion to, it's a bit of blue, it's a bit of smut? Yeah. I don't know if it's another song about sex, but I'd like to think so. Because, mate, the more songs about smut, more happy I am. Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
You should listen to the Smut Peddlers.
Yes, indeed. Right, track number 10 then is... All-Nighter, right. And I didn't recognise the name of this one at all when I was looking back. Couldn't place it one bit.
Yeah, and this is another kind of pretty much straight-up punker, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, she's back on the more sneery vocal, isn't it?
Yeah.
the coolness about. But this was one that sparked the lowest recognition with me.
Yeah, I've written I'm less inspired by this because this is just very by the numbers.
It's absolutely fine. And there are this one, and then I think there's another one later on that I think sound very much like Proto Kaniki. So I can see Lauren Laverne was probably listening to this going, I want to be in a band. I think there's very much elements that they took and did stuff with. But again, I think it's absolutely fine. It doesn't have the huge chorus for me that a lot of the other ones do. It doesn't have the really clever, smutty lyrics or something that would do it for me. I think it's just fine. Yeah. But again, if someone said to me, you can't have 15 songs on an album, you only have 13, I'll go, right, we'll lose Indian Song and maybe this one. This is kind of an also-ran in my books. And that's not a bad thing because it's also running against a fucking load of strong songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems to be about maybe a girl lusting after a boy, but she doesn't want to overtly say it, and he's not picking up the hints, and she's getting frustrated that he's saying, oh, let's go to the garage for some cigarettes. Yeah. But again, hey, it's done. How long was that? It was 1 minute 30.
Yeah.
So, if it wasn't on the album, we wouldn't have lost much.
If you don't like that one, you'll like the next one. It's like one line of comics.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. There's another one coming straight up. Yeah. But we've done 5 more songs. We're now 2/3 of the way through this album.
Yeah. We're at 20 minutes now.
I know, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
So just as a quick sum up, so far you are happily impressed?
Yeah, I really so far so good. I really like this record. Right. Yeah.
I am really happy that I got back into it because I remember loving the album at the time, and even though there were some I didn't remember from the name, as soon as I heard them I went, oh yeah, I fucking love this.
I'm also still at the point where if the back end of this album is 5 songs that sound like the last one, that I will be disappointed.
Yeah, that's fair. I get you. Okay, well, let's do the singles. And the top 10 singles this week. Right, and again, we've got top 10 singles and then we've got a load of other releases. At number 10, I'm not even going to play it, is Axel F by Clock. If you can remember Clock from the mid-90s.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah, they did cover versions of big songs.
That feels like it should be later.
Oh, right. No, I remember them doing their Stayin' Alive single.
Oh,
it was
God,
mid-90s.
I remember that as well. Yeah.
The only thing I remember having a grudging respect for them is that they asked the Bee Gees if they could sample Stayin' Alive for their song. The Bee Gees told them to fuck off. So they got some sound-alikes into a studio, re-recorded it, the exact same, like indistinguishable from the original, used it and had a big hit, and the Bees didn't see the sample money. They just got writing credit on it. Yeah. So, fine. Number 9 is a song that we have seen before because we did the album at least a season ago. See if you remember this. You remember who it is?
Yeah. It's Oops Now, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's Oops Now.
Oops Now by
Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson, indeed. Indeed it is. What have I got for you? Yes, I've got... Yes. Number 9, so Janet Jackson. Number 8, and this was big at the time. You're going to remember the song, but if you remember who did it.
Beat sounds funny in my mind, funny in my mind. I can never remember who these are. So it's like fucking Cascada or something.
Oh, right. No. It's the Bucketheads.
The Bucketheads, there
it's
you
the
go.
Bomb, brackets, these sounds fall into my mind, the Bucketheads. And this was fucking massive. This was one of those huge tunes. 1985.
I feel like this is something that fucking Eli or Mark from HMV would have
played.
Oh,
straight away. Yeah. You know that. But I'm going to give you a Get Out of Here for that. It's the closest I could find. And here's one that you would find yourself going, oh, is that not the Bucketheads again? This is number 7.
Oh, like, is that Nightcrawler?
Yes, it is. This is Nightcrawlers. Push the Feeling. Yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah, I remember these two together so well. I didn't realise it was because they were in the charts at the same time. I just always placed them together as this sort of time period. Yes, indeed. Number 7, that is. Number 6, and... see if you can recognise the band on this. Don't need to say too much because we're going to have to do the whole album.
Here I go again, through the back streets of my mind.
Oh, God.
It seems my life was
Well,
Is it Westlife?
No,
It's one of them.
it's the first two letters, right?
Wet, wet, wet.
Wet, wet, wet.
Oh no.
Yes, this is Julia Says by Wet, 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 and let me have a look.
The Glasgow French Kisses.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, in 2 albums' time, we're going to have to do the full album on this.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
fuck me.
Tears on my pillow. Pain in my heart.
So yes, don't say too much about how much you really enjoy that, because save it for the main episode.
I've got a feeling I won't have heard a fucking song off of that.
No, of course you won't. Why? How would you have? But you will. Number 4. Oh no, so that was number 6. Number 5 is Alex Party with "Don't Give Me Your Life," which we saw in the last episode. Number 4 is this one.
Oh, this is a Freak Power.
Yes, it is.
Tune in, tone, drop out, whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
turn on, tune in, cop out.
Cop out.
That's the very one.
So
Freak
naff.
Power, one of Norman Cook's many different projects. So yes, that I remember that coming out, and I enjoyed it, and I thought, oh, maybe there's going to be some other good stuff from this band. And I think they did one follow-up single, which was dog shit, and I never paid any more attention to it.
The Funky Christians.
Yes, it really is. Yeah. Number 3 is Celine Dion's with "Think Twice." Number 2, and this is one of the worst songs of the year, surely.
Don't stop moving, baby.
Don't drive me crazy.
Uh-huh.
Wiggle. The Out Here Brothers.
It is the Out Here Brothers. It's "Don't Stop, Wiggle, Wiggle."
Explicit version.
No, this is the radio edit.
Came down from the mothership.
Fucking dreadful. Absolute turd of a song this is. But yeah, number 2. This is fucking big.
Put that pussy on my face.
Indeed. Yeah. And then number 1. This is awful. This is what happens when you put 3 artists that you really quite like together.
This is that song that's from the Four Musketeers soundtrack, isn't it? Or something like that. Is it? With Man in the Iron Mask. It's one of those.
It's not the Sting, Bryan Adams.
Oh God! No, I don't. No, this isn't what I thought it was.
No, it's not that one.
What is it? I don't. Oh God!
So that's Chrissie Hynde.
Is it?
Yeah.
Bless her.
And so Cher. Exactly. So far, I like Chrissie Hynde. I like Pretenders. Cher, I like some Cher stuff. It's a bit silly, but by this time she hadn't done Believe, so I didn't hate her. And then, is it going to come in? Oh, well, also Nena Cherry.
I don't think I've.
This is "Love Can Build a Bridge."
I don't think I've ever heard this song, or I don't remember this existing.
Right.
I feel like this is just I feel like I've crossed over to a different timeline.
Oh God, right. I'm sorry I've done this to you.
This was a number 1, was it?
This is number 1.
I don't remember this.
I'm not sure
at
if
all.
it was a soundtrack, or it might just have been a charity thing, because Eric Clapton's on this as well. I think it might be some sort
with
of
a black person.
Yeah. No one told him. He was in the studio. There's Nena. This is just awful.
Yeah,
I don't know why it happened. It's blanked it from my mind.
And I'll be honest with you, I resent you playing it too.
No, I understand. That's entirely my fault. I'm so sorry. But yeah, number 1, "Love Can Build a Bridge."
I reckon I'm gonna wipe that immediately as soon as I leave.
That was for the best, mate.
Just for my self-protection.
Yeah, fine. Okay, other singles.
Yes, please.
Right, here is one that got to number 11.
As we walk through the corridor of creation,
Jesus.
we see lands
Oh my
divide.
God.
Uh-huh.
Nation against nation.
Oh, do you remember this? Because I don't
Kinda
remember
do.
this.
I vaguely do.
And we pray.
Oh, this is fucking E17.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's E17.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hang on. Heaven and earth. Hang on. Oh no, it's so bad.
it's terrible.
Rain.
Let it rain.
Let it rain, love. Let it rain. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Let it. Is this one that ends with outside it's raining, but inside it's wet?
No, that was off the
Oh, no,
other
you're right.
album
Yeah,
we
yeah,
did.
yeah,
We
yeah.
had
Oh, fucking.
off the wall.
Oh my God, listen to this.
Oh, Jesus
It's
Christ.
just like high energy trance.
Yeah. They've heard Too Unlimited. They liked it. They took it.
Yeah, I reckon if you take 15 pills, it makes you a better person, mate. Pass me a potato.
Spud you like. Yeah, so it's well done for getting E17 Let
Yeah.
It Rain.
Oh my God.
Yeah, number 11. And as we have said, that's a shame we don't have to do that album. You know, this one never got to number 1. Never mind. Right, one that got to number 12, and just while we're on fucking dreadful songs.
Oh, good lord. Yeah, it's Cotton Eye Joe, like Redneck, turn it off.
It's not Cotton Eye Joe, it's the one that isn't Cotton Eye Joe. But it sounds exactly the same as Cotton Eye Joe. This is Old Pop in an Oak. Old Pop in an Oak, Old Pop in an Oak. Exactly.
You're not allowed to do that.
Surely, no, it's a fucking crime. I mean, the first one was a crime. This is a crime upon a crime. Yeah. Anyway, so this is Rednecks doing the same thing.
Did they sue themselves for plagiarism?
And lose.
Their trademark lawyers went, we've got a case here. Who did this one? Oh, it's them again.
Fucking crap.
Jeez, Mike.
Yeah. Okay. This one got to number 18, and I know you definitely know the song. I'm trying to work out if this is the single or the album version.
This is Left Field,
Yes.
and it's Control. Open Up. No, not Open Up. No, sorry, not Open Up. It's the first track of the. It's called fucking brain has just gone. I love this song.
I think is this the one that features Tony Halliday from Curve? Yeah.
From the
But yeah, this is off the Leftism album.
I'm just trying to remember what the name of the track is.
I don't think you're going to get it.
Yeah, that was the name of the track?
Original.
Yeah,
Original by Left Field.
Yeah, Original. Of course it's called Original.
Yeah.
I fucking love this track, man.
I mean, this
so
is
good.
I do like this song. I'm not a massive... It's not my favourite style of Left Field stuff, but I think this is a good tune, for sure. It is.
Yeah. I would imagine your big problem with Left Field is the W.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't really do it for me, and there's a lot of that, which is, hey, fine. Not for me. That's Left Field. This one got to number 28, and I don't remember this happening, but it's one of your favourite bands doing a cover version.
Yeah. This is Perfect Day.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's a
Hang on,
perfect
one of
day.
my favourite. Is it Duran Duran?
Yes, mate. Yes.
So, yeah.
Did you know they did this? I don't remember this at all.
It must be on that covers record.
Oh no, totally. It must be, but I don't remember. It's got to 28 in the charts.
Like, that covers album. If you listen to it once, you never listen to it.
No,
again.
well,
it is proper bad.
Oh yeah, should never have been allowed. That's Duran Duran. This one I remember happening, and I remember going, "This is not very good." Number 35. This got to. It's not a cover version. Sorry, a classic rock song.
Yeah. Oh no. Ooh.
Yes. And I don't know why they thought this would be a good idea.
Oh, this is
Other
horrible.
than, well, we don't have to write a song, we just do this.
This is horrible.
It's Don't Fear the Reaper, if that helps.
I
right,
got
sure,
that.
okay.
Yeah. I'm just trying to work out.
You don't remember who did it? You don't remember
No.
it happening? All right. You were lucky that you didn't have to remember this. It's Apollo 440.
Cool. I mean,
this.
do you know what, man?
Yeah.
I should have guessed that it was Apollo 440. Although I had Apollo 440 a couple of years later. I suppose, no.
They were still doing stuff a couple of years later. But yeah, this
they
is
were
one of
about
their
this
first things. Yeah, no, they I think this might even have been their debut. Or definitely their chart debut, I think.
Good God, that's awful.
Yeah. Terrible idea. Terrible song, terrible idea. This one only got to number 46, but I think this is fucking great. Apparently going to be supporting Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, Skunk Anansie.
Yes, it is. Skunk Anansie.
This is Jesus again.
Selling Jesus.
Again, yeah.
Selling Jesus, yes it is. You get... I do think it's a great single. This is a really good, chunky riff.
Oh, they had their moments, man.
They did. I didn't like Weak, essentially, which was the big one that everyone really wanted. So I thought, that's
and they
dull.
shouldn't have called Charlie Big Potatoes Charlie Big Potatoes.
I don't know. I like that.
That's a terrible name for a song. It's a really good song.
Oh, it is a really good song, but I also think it's funny.
That's because you're from Ireland.
To Ireland, indeed. This one I'm going to start quite a way in. Let me find... let's do it from here.
That sounds like Metallica.
I mean, yes, that definitely does. I don't think it's sampled from them, but no. This is Part 2, and the single was released with Part 2, then Part 1, then Part 4, Part 3, I think.
Not recognising it in a minute.
I mean, let me skip forward.
Oh, is this,
if you had to guess.
Oh, is it Shadow?
Yeah.
What does your soul look like?
What does your soul look like?
Yeah, there you
DJ
go.
Shadow.
Yeah,
Absolutely it is, yes. This is a great tune as well. It's so evocative. It's just that whole mood that he's able to create. Wonderful shit.
Yeah, it was the break. I was like, Shadow.
That's a very Shadow break. Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, that got to number 59. Supergrass released Lose It, got to number 75. Oh, God, have I put this in? Hold on. Oh, I have. Oh, this... Wow. Oh, I mean, I'm going to start this and say... He says who it is immediately, and he says the name of the song almost immediately, but I put it in because it's one of the most ridiculous things you'll hear.
Okay.
Scooter!
Oh, no.
Back in the house. Yeah. Get off your shirts and wait for further
Get off your shirts and wait for further instruction.
Business. I've got one message for the next decade. Move your...
It's called Move Your Ass.
Oh, yes, it is.
And it's, Scooter doing what Scooter do.
Yeah. Scooting.
Right. I wish they wouldn't. And there you go.
Hardcore!
In case you weren't sure.
Yeah.
What sort of sound of music is this, Scooter?
Hardcore!
Fuck me.
That's going to hurt your ears in the edit.
Yeah, indeed. I think you've blown something in the laptop.
Yeah, sorry.
Fine. Okay. that amused me whenever I was going through.
Hardcore.
This one got to number 29, and you'll definitely know this.
Tricky.
It's tricky, but with the Massive Attack.
Yeah.
It's him on vocals, but there's the Massive Attack version of...
You sure you wanna be with me? I've nothing to give. No lines say this love is best.
I can't remember what the fucking track's called.
Because it's the one that he did a version of on Max and K as well, but this is the one off the Massive Attack version.
I see you thinking of home, your neighborhood, you're crazy, but you're lazy. No need to live in a need to. Your troubles must be seen to see through.
I fucking love his voice, man.
That's great.
Faces I remember, I drink on a daily basis, though it sort of cools my temper. It never cools my temper.
Yeah, I'm not going to get the name of the track.
Karmakoma. Jamaica and Roma.
That's
Yes,
it.
Karmakoma.
Yeah, I should have fucking got that.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
what a track that is, though.
Karmakoma. Jamaican and Roma.
Craig Mack released Get Down, got to number 54.
Yeah.
Ash released Kung Fu, got to number 57. This one I've put in because you'll get it, I'm pretty sure. This got to number 63.
Oh, and check one. Hang on, off the top of my head, is it Ice Cube or is it Snoop?
Hang
on.
It's neither.
Oh, hang on. Astray then.
Nope.
No, what the fuck is it? Hang on. I've got it.
As soon as he starts rapping, you'll be like, oh yeah.
It's fucking Biggie, yeah.
It's Biggie, indeed.
There you go.
It's a Big Popper.
Yeah,
Big
I love it when
Popper.
they call me Big
Or it's
Popper.
big, indeed. Number 63, and I must admit I didn't think it got that high over here. I didn't think this made the charts at all, but 63, fair enough. This one I put in because I'm going to guarantee that you have never heard this, and I'm also going to guarantee that no one on earth has ever heard this. You will not be able to guess, but you'll guess who the main singer is because you'll get his voice, but it's featuring someone else, and you go like, "What?"
I mean, it just sounds like a montage song.
I was a fool to say the things I said. I just lost my head, made you cry, made you go. I didn't mean to be so cold. I had no right mistreating you that way. And
So Tom Jones.
It is Tom Jones. It's Tom Jones, and the song is called "I Want to Get Back with You."
Right.
And so far, fine, whatever. But if I told you that this is a duet with Tori Amos,
What?
you'd be like, "I think you're lying to me, Christer.
Yeah.
That never happened.
Yeah.
That happened." Right. I'll find you a bit with Tori in it, I'm sure. There's Tori Amos. Why did this happen? Who has some fucking blackmail material on Tori Amos that they went, no, you're going to do this song with Tom Jones, by the way. There's no two ways around
maybe
it.
she just really likes him.
Mate, I get that, but this song?
Why, Tori Amos?
Unbelievable. I've never heard this in my life. I didn't
I
know
didn't know this existed.
No.
Are you sure you haven't just got your laptop from from a hole in the space-time continuum?
I know. Yeah, I'm playing two songs at once, and they just happen to line up. Okay, so what did I get to? Number 94. Fine. This got to number 9, and again, we're going to have to do the whole album on this one, so don't worry too much about...
This is Wake Up Boo, Bada Boo Rad.
It is, and it's going to be the next full album that we do.
Oh, you're fucking joking.
I am not. Number 1, it's the next one.
Oh, fuck this.
I know.
This was my idea.
Britpop, mate. Right, this one... this got to number 11.
I know what this is. I've heard it so many times.
Oh, of course you do. You would have had the album.
Yeah. I was fucking Stone Roses.
Stone Roses, difficult second album.
Difficult second album.
It's a 10-story
love song.
10-story
love song. There you go.
Yes, mate.
Fuck me.
Absolutely.
I'd be wrong to ask you why.
You did mention it earlier.
When it goes inside.
Got to number 16.
Yes, Digging a Grave.
Digging a Grave. Indeed. That got to number 16. And a minute ago, we mentioned these again. This one got to number 17. It's
Radiohead.
Yep.
I can never remember the track titles off this fucking record.
Don't leave
me high and dry.
High and dry, yes indeed.
It's just literally whenever I hear a song off this album, I go, it's fake Plastic Trees.
Oh, is it every time?
Literally every time. And I was like, I know this isn't fake Plastic Trees, but unless it's fake Plastic Trees.
Yeah, sure. So this is High and Dry, which released as a double A-side with Planet Telex off the album as well. Fucking brilliant song. But if we're going to be doing a full album on that, let's leave all of that for that. This one got to number 19, and I put it in because I shouldn't like this, but I very much do.
Oh, this is Dreams.
Nope.
No, not Dreams, but it's this is I know exactly what it is. Fucking brain's going to catch up with me in a minute. It's You Gotta Be Strong.
Yes, you gotta be.
It's You Gotta Be, and it's Desiree.
Desiree! Indeed. Yeah. I know this is wishy-washy, middle-of-the-road pap, and I fucking love it. I think it's a great tune.
I've got a very soft spot for this song.
Yeah, really like this. You know, whenever it gets... Let's... Catchy as shit, mate. Catchy. Anyway, so that's one from me there. Let's race through some more of these. Dodgy released Making the Most of, got number 22. Aaliyah released Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, got number 32. Don't even remember it. This one got number 64.
That's Grave Diggers.
That's impressive.
Yes.
Grave Diggers.
It's 6 Feet Deep.
It's off the 6 Feet Deep EP. Indeed, this is 1-800-SUICIDE.
1-800-SUICIDE, yeah.
But the 6 Feet Deep EP is the release.
Suicide, it's a suicide. Suicide, and it's a suicide.
That was very fast.
It's a suicide.
I am impressed. I am impressed.
I can deal with the lyrics of this song. So you want to die, commit suicide, call 1-800-cyanide line.
This is cool, man. This is good. But I'll leave this playing under the next couple. Salad released Drink the Elixir, got 66. American Music Club released Can You Help Me, got to number 91. Prodigy released Poison, got to 15. We've done that. The next one, let's play a bit of this just for Gaz from True Cult Pop. This got to number 22. Oh, it's called Some People Say, if that helps.
This is from Grantley Buffalo.
No. It's much more UK and leaden than that.
Oh, I've no idea.
Terror Vision.
Oh, it's Terror
It's Terror Vision.
This isn't as much. The Terror Vision stuff normally is at least fun.
No, this is their moody ballad. Have to have a moody ballad, mate. What else are you going to play in the middle of your set?
Did they have to, though, Krista?
Oh, it's the law. Have you not seen Thunder's back catalogue?
Jesus.
It's the law. Right. That's number 22. This one got to number 30. And we have briefly mentioned this band in the episode today.
I thought it was going to be Demon Cleaner for a second.
Oh, right, no.
It's Green Day.
Green Day, not Basket Case.
No, it's Longview, sorry.
Longview, exactly. This is fucking brilliant. I don't particularly like this style of music overall. I like some bits of it. I think this is a brilliant song. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Indeed. Tindersticks released No More Affairs, got to number 58. This one got to number 69. See if you remember this. Speaking of like incredibly cool girl bands,
I mean, just from that, I'm going to say it's like Luscious Jackson.
it is Luscious Jackson.
I
yeah.
don't remember the song at all.
Oh, this is Deep Shag.
Right.
So this is Yep. This is one of the bigger ones they had. And yeah, I remember this coming out and really liking it, and then not enjoying the rest of the album as much. It's cool, but it's more of a feel than a song to me. It's good though. It's good. And then the last one I've got after all these singles, and this only got to number 49, but we have already mentioned it. Yeah. This is
Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Exactly. So Negasonic, is this the opening track on the Monster Magnet? Second track. Yeah. But fucking fantastic. I think I've got this on a cutout 12-inch, and it's in the shape of a mushroom cloud. Yeah. And that's brilliant.
15 trips and it's time to say bye.
So yeah, Monster Magnet.
This man. 15 trips and a love that won't die.
What a song.
All fucking 8 guitars.
Yeah, so there you go. There's a bit of Monster Magnet at the end for us again. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant song. There you go. Fucking loads and loads of singles. Because it was a full month's worth of single releases.
Brilliant.
And some absolute solid gold in that.
Oh, fantastic.
Really,
yeah,
really
I thought we were at that for a while, weren't we?
Yeah, we really were. Indeed, yeah. So again, as always, with these ones where we have rolled over into the next episode, if you don't like our singles bit, I'm really sorry. I hope you're able to skip that.
Yeah.
If you enjoy the singles bit, then you've had a fucking field day, my friend.
100%, motherfuckers. Yeah. There's a whole kind of subclass of people that listen to this, and I call them a subclass because they are subhuman scum.
Yes.
They listen to this just for when I get them stuff wrong.
Oh, sure. No, that's my favourite bit.
People love...
It's my absolute favourite.
People, I get texts the day after an episode. People text me and go, "I can't believe you fucking didn't get that." Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like people I know,
and as well,
scum,
because you can almost smell your struggle. Yeah. It's such a like, oh god, the brain's ticking over. It's not getting in there. I love it. It's wonderful to me.
Right. Okay. What's next? Then?
Right. We are back into the last 5 songs of Elastica. Track number 11 is Waking Up. And this was the 4th single in February 95, so it was number 13, and this is one that came out just before the album release.
I tell you what, when I listen to this, because I remember this song very well.
You must do.
But it's like, fucking hell, this is like almost like a time and a half faster than I remember this song being.
Oh, really? Okay.
I remember this
thought
being.
It was a lot slower.
I remember it being slower.
Oh no! Right, no. This is a not a barnstormer, but it chugs along. I remember this really well.
Oh man, yeah. This is another slice of indie pop perfection. And I never really paid attention to these lyrics, but again, it's basically a British basket case, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's essentially what it is, and like I get it. This is that overwhelming feeling of like, that thing of like, oh no, I'm fucking lazy because you fucking can't motivate yourself to do stuff that you know you should but don't want to.
Yeah.
That whole thing is like, if I can't be famous, I'll stay in bed.
Yes.
That fucking thing, man.
That's a bit.
I get it. I love this, man.
It's terrific.
Yeah, I forgot how much I loved this.
I will admit that I got the lyric wrong because I would sing along to this.
Yeah.
Whenever, but I never really thought about the lyrics, and then when I was looking at it, actually studying them, I realised I got it wrong because I thought it was I work very hard, but I'm lazy.
Yeah.
But it's I'd work very hard. Yeah. I would work very hard, but I'm lazy. So it's like I'm not doing anything. Yeah. I thought it was like I'm working very hard, but I don't want to. Yeah. But it's not. It's I don't want to get out of bed at all. Yeah, and I would much rather have a rich boyfriend who fucking pays for it, and I can just drink tea.
Yeah, and
it changes the whole nuance of it.
But there's also a subtext to it in that they're obviously saying the opposite. They're being like it's a self-deprecation based on a frustration.
There's a self-loathing. An admission of that. I know I'm like this.
100% of like and it's because Justine's got ADHD. But yeah, I mean, look, this. I mean, obviously, this is the Stranglers one.
Exactly.
This is the Stranglers one.
Yes, and I knew the Stranglers song. Like, I didn't know the Wire ones, but I knew the Stranglers one, and even I went, "Ooh, that sounds like the Stranglers."
Yeah,
it was obvious from the word go.
Yeah, but I think I like both songs.
Yep.
And even though the bits are the same, again, I don't think the songs are the same.
No, I do think that it rips it off. I genuinely do.
But there's no argument. It's an absolute fair cop.
Sure, but it's not a cover.
No,
it's a different song. And I think this is a great song. I really do. I can see this why it was a single, because it's immediately catchy. It's at least 3 minutes long, so there's time to play it on the radio. And it's got a lot going for it. I don't think it's as interesting as some of the other singles. I like it, but I don't like it as much as Connection, for example, or Line Up for me. But I think it's a very good song.
I like this infinitely more than I like Line Up.
Do you? Right.
And I like it. I like this a lot.
I think it's fantastic.
It's one of my favourites on the record.
Nice, right. The video for it, I don't know if you ever saw that at the time, but there was a little bit of controversy about it because it showed them in a kind of a big white space, them in their black denim or whatever, playing their instrument, big white space with loads of naked men sitting round the band. So it was flipping the script on the hip-hop videos, whatever, had scantily clad women. And so I think there was maybe, we can't play that on daytime TV, we can't do it in the chart show, we can't show it on Top of the Pops, you'll have to do a live version, that sort of thing. So it was a little bit of that. Fucking no one would bat an eyelid today. No, but in 1995, apparently, 20 naked men in a room hiding their nuts. They're not like showing everything.
These days, that's just a basic OnlyFans subscription.
It is, absolutely. But there was that about it. But also, it is one of the videos again where I was watching it and I'm going, "Oh, you are so fucking cool! I love you guys. My God, you're just. I want to be in your gang."
Did you look at Justine as well?
Oh, fuck's sake. Oh, dear.
Yeah. Right. Let's do next track.
Yes.
This one's called 2 to 1.
2 to 1. Track number 12.
It's based on the early concept of the quiz, 15 to 1. But they wrote it off and said, that's just too easy. We can't get half an hour out of this. So, this is obviously a gentler, slower tune to start with.
Yeah. It's a bit more menacing.
Yeah. I've got a note here, and I need to hear this again to see if this stands up.
Oh, okay. This is another one that I remember the name, but nothing else about it. But as soon as it started, like from the very first drum beat, I was like, oh, yeah.
Maybe this note. I wrote, it's like a punkier Bangles.
Oh, okay. No, I get that. Absolutely. Sure. I mean, even especially their.
Oh, that does sound like
what's their cover? Someone got Hazy Shade of Winter.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, for sure.
And then I wrote that, and then that next riff comes in a minute, and I'll show.
Oh,
you
right.
know what I mean in a minute. And then. Like sand dance, Egyptian adjacent.
Oh, I see. So you thought you were just like going like an Egyptian, right? I love the whole vibe of this song. I think this is.
I'm always. See, I like this song despite this sand dancey bit.
I see.
I'm always really dubious about this, but there's going to be. This call and response they do here between the lead vocal and the distorted vocal, that's fucking gorgeous.
It's great, yeah.
It's so well orchestrated.
Yeah,
it's conceived and orchestrated.
It's not A then B. It's like all overlapping and messing with itself. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's really well put together. I don't know what it's about. Part of me wants to say that it's maybe about a threesome. track is like 2-1. Just that's probably because there's so much smut elsewhere on the record. But it could also be worrying about like if your bloke is shagging someone else and they're the 1 to your 2. But I think it's something along those lines. I don't know, but I don't really know. But I think this is terrific. I honestly, I really like that menacing feel of it. It is short and to the point again.
I wrote great.
Yeah, it is. It's a great, great song. I think what happened was I didn't listen to side 2 of this album as much as I listened to side 1. And so ones like Blue, All Nighter, 2-1 didn't make such a big impact on me at the time. But going back to it, I definitely remember them. And I'm like, yeah, this is still really good. It's still very strong, but I didn't remember them straight off the top of my head. But yeah, wicked. Number 13 then, yeah?
Yes, please.
Is, right, number 13 is Vaseline.
Vaseline.
And I don't know what you think this song is about, but it's about that.
Yeah.
It's absolutely about Vaseline.
Yeah.
It's the second shortest song. It's only 1 minute 20. And this is obviously just a bit of throwaway humour on part of the band.
I wrote it sounds like Blondie meets the Banana Splits.
I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I also find a lot of Kinnicky in this.
Yeah.
For sure. But it's so tongue-in-cheek, it's almost like a parody of a song. It's like seeing what they can get away with. When you're stuck like glue, Vaseline. But yeah. Yep. When you need some goo. There's no deeper meaning behind this. They've written a song about a sexual lubricant.
Yeah. My only criticism of this song is the placement. This should have been the last song on the album.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, I get that.
This is the best way to end this album.
That would be nice. Yeah, that's true. It's a really snotty chant along. It's a joke song-ish, but it just does its thing and batters you down the throat with it, or all of your lips. Yeah.
Vaseline.
Vaseline.
Brilliant.
Isn't it? Great
Perfect.
fun. Great
Excellent.
fun.
Brilliant. Love it.
I was trying to think of other songs that are about sexual lubricants.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Oh, God.
And I mean, obviously, you could say like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, WAP is, but that's not about a lubricant you can buy off a shelf. But I thought of some other ones. Obviously, Rammstein with Du Hastroglide.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, obviously that one.
This is where we're starting.
Yeah, indeed.
So we start here and we get more tenuous.
Much.
Okay,
much more.
right.
Public Enemy, Lubricant Do Nothing For You, Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Underworld's Porn Slippy-ish, maybe. Okay. Elton John, I guess that's why they call it the Loops.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Okay, yeah.
The Bloobs? I'm not sure. And then I've just finished on an obvious one of Flaming Lips with She Don't Use Petroleum Jelly.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So those are the big ones that I thought of.
I do understand that, yeah.
Thanks. Now, those are the obvious ones I thought.
Spit It Out by Slipknot.
That'll do. Why not?
Yeah. A bit of,
Yeah. I don't know if there's one about slobber, but, you know.
I mean, maybe.
Jizz slobber?
Jizz slobber. I mean, anything by Slobodan Milosevic.
I mean, any of his top 10 hits.
Any of his top 10 hits, yeah.
So that's Vaseline, anyway. That's track number 13. And we're near the end then. So track number 14 is Never Here. And this is by some distance the longest song on the album. And it's still only nearly 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, this is full new way. You kind of expect to see this in a mid-90s film, don't you? Like this is.
But that drum beat is.
This has got a very
80s.
Californian feel to it.
This Go-Go's,
Yeah.
something like that. And this is the one that might be written about Brett Anderson.
Right.
It's not confirmed, but it's entirely possible.
Well, yeah.
And it almost sounds, for want of a better phrase, it sounds like a proper song. You know, it's not the sneering arch, tongue-in-cheek, bit of a wink. It's just a straight-ahead song.
Yeah.
It's taking itself a little bit more seriously.
Look, this is. I've written here. This is musically like the best song on the album.
Yeah.
Like the best composed, best written song.
It's a full piece.
There is like, if you wanted a fucking just if you were arguing with some numbskull that this is a Britpop album, this is the track you break out. This is an alt rock song through and through, right?
Sure, right.
And what a fucking brilliant dissection of young love these lyrics are.
There's some great lines in
just
this.
the whole thing of like idolization, like then realization, and then the way that you then take those positive memories and you rewrite them through this like lens of hindsight. Like this song, man, this is my favourite song on this album.
This one is right.
This is for me. I think this is fucking essential. I love this song.
Oh, great! I mean, I think this is brilliant. I think because we are now a couple of minutes in, and we've not had the chorus yet. I think these verses are. I mean, they're very clever and they say very smart things.
Yeah.
But the chorus for me is when it lifts off.
Oh yeah.
Because the verses are great, but are we about to hit a chorus? Maybe. But the line's like, we were sitting in, waiting, and I told you my plan. You were far too busy writing rhymes that didn't scan.
Yeah.
You lent me your records, I lent you an ear. Funny how it seems to me now you were never here.
Yeah.
It's brilliantly put.
Yeah.
Especially if it's Brett Anderson. It's fucking scathing.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. But yeah, right, I think we're getting into the chorus now. And it lifts off. Oh. That's the bit I just quoted as well. I think that melody that they've written there is great.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's almost got a little bit of a surf rock feel to it, hasn't it? In places.
Yeah, I can say that. And obviously, if this is about Brett, there were songs about Justine. You've already mentioned Tender by Blur, which is about, I mean, that's off the Blur's, or Damon Albarn's breakup album. That was a single very much about her. But just Animal Lover by Suede, off their first album, is partly about Justine. So she's kind of already had that about her, and maybe this is a riposte. Like, well, if you can say something, I can say something. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. It's a bit of a Fleetwood Mac scenario.
But the thing is, when you're that age and you've been in the height of these fucking big, what else are you going to write about?
Well, sure.
Like all I did when I wrote songs in my 20s was write songs about my relationships and my feelings. That's all what else can you do? It overpowers everything else.
Well, no, she's not started the heroin habit yet, so you can't write about that. Yeah. No, I think this is great. It's definitely not my favourite on here. I think it's very good, and it's a solid song, but it doesn't do it in the same way as some of the other songs from it.
I love this, man. I really love this.
I'm so happy that you like this album, because I was worried that you wouldn't get it at all. It wouldn't be your thing, and you'd be like, I don't understand, because I fucking love this album.
And I was like a track and a half in, like even like, because obviously by the time I was writing my notes for this album, I already knew I liked the back end of it. And when I was writing my notes for the first, I was like, okay, how do I feel about this song? Okay, coloured by my experience with the rest of this album.
Sure.
And I still feel this way about it. I still feel like the first track and a half aren't representative of the rest of it. And maybe that will change over time. That may change over time.
I don't know, because I suspect you've heard Line Up enough times to know whether you like it or not.
I think so. And for me, it's too adjacent to some of the stuff I don't like, I think. But I mean, you know, we'll have this conversation after. We've got one more.
We've got one more song, the last one.
So this is the first single. This is
Stutter. So this is Stutter, which, like I say, was released as a very limited edition vinyl 7-inch only release. I think sold out completely, but it's the one that got them the attention.
Yeah.
And yet, last song. And I think this immediately sounds different production-wise.
Oh, for sure.
It's like this was the one done on the cheap.
This is the garage band. This is, you know, we talked about MC5 earlier. It sounds a bit like MC5.
Right,
some of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's you know, this is the thing. It's kind of feels more like American punk than British punk in some ways.
Okay. I mean, again, this. If you told me this was a Green Day song and put some different vocalists on, I'd believe you.
Yes.
But yeah, this is full of piss and vinegar. It's fucking stacked full of hooks.
But, you know, that sounds like a hardcore drum kit.
Oh, it's the sound of this drum kit is shocking.
Oh yeah, it's genuinely like someone
cardboard
playing.
boxes.
Someone's playing a Fisher Price drum kit.
Yeah.
And obviously lyrically, It's about confronting a boyfriend with fucking erectile dysfunction.
Yes, it is.
And
I mean, who knew there was songs about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, for a girl band, in inverted commas, to come out with this as their first single about fucking limp dicks.
mate,
Brilliant.
can you imagine if this was brand new today? This would be the fucking... In like the fucking Amel and the Sniffers fucking era.
Oh, shit, yeah.
This would be the fucking
Yeah.
biggest news today. It's
That's very true.
this again. This is just a big fucking punk blast. This is by no means the best thing on this album,
Okay. I think this is fantastic.
but it's great.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's not my favourite, but I think it's fucking brilliant.
I don't. The ones that are straight ahead, kind of heads down, just fucking punk things. I've heard a lot of that stuff.
Sure.
It's
yeah,
fine.
True.
But also that stuff tends to live forever.
Oh, it's so catchy again. The amount of hooks in this, and the da da da, just the really big, chant along bit of this, I think is wonderful stuff. I know what you mean about putting that other one at the end, but I can see why they put this at the end because it sounds so different to the rest, production-wise, and they didn't want to re-record it.
I think I just left it off.
I mean, that would have been... I could see that.
That would have been the G move. That would have been the G move.
You leave it as, only the early fans get this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe you put it as a B-side on something or whatever. But no, I can see that for sure. Yeah. But I bet you Steve Lamacq had a word to say about that.
Oh, yeah, I bet he did.
Go put stutter on.
Hang on a minute. You've got a light, mate. No, careful, mate. Don't get ash on that.
Yeah, not near the
on the Union Jack.
Indeed.
Soft finishes.
Yeah, I reckon that was, but partly their decision, partly record company decision, because it makes...
Hang on, wait. Sorry, it's the door. Yes, Black Fred Perry delivery.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, yeah.
You never have enough.
You never can.
No. I was trying to think of other songs about erectile dysfunction, though, obviously, all those other big songs about erectile dysfunction. And the ones that came to mind, Mark Lanigan, obviously, Whiskey Dick for the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, good.
It's obviously a big one. Yeah. Notorious B.I.G., Big Flopper.
Yeah. Just can't get it up.
Sorry. I wish I'd thought of that.
Yeah,
just can't get it. Depeche Mode just can't get it up. Oasis, the impotence of being idle.
Yep, indeed, yeah.
Roberta Flack or the Fugees with Killing Me Softly.
Yeah, nice. Anything by Flaccid, Rancid.
Oh, there's got to be an acid one on that, surely.
They call it Flaccid.
Flaccid? The only other one I had was... Godly and Cream with Under Your Thumbing in a Slacky.
Oh, Jesus fucking hell.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It was a very tenuous one to end on there.
Oh, man.
I think I should give myself, frankly. Yeah, that's entirely deserved.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, fuck it. Right, there you go. That's all of Elastica. Right, before we do our summing up, shall we look at social media?
Yes, let's look at social media. Shimmy, yeah, social media. I can't do it.
We put a shout out on our Facebook and our Twitter accounts, seeing if anyone had any memories about Elastica's album. We got a few responses. Simon Sharp, our mate Simon, said it's my favourite album from that scene, I think, which is a big, if you're talking about the scene of Britpop, that's a lot of albums to choose from. But like we've said, it's not really a Britpop album. So if you're just talking about that era, then that's huge. That's a big deal. Thank you, Simon.
We got one here from Martin Young. Big up, Martin. Incredible album. If Elastica arrived fully formed just like that in 2025, they would be hailed just as much, if not more. Which is something which we have been saying that, and 100%, Martin. That is
so true.
I think you are completely right. I hadn't read that in advance, so I wasn't nicking your.
And Martin is an actual journalist, writes for actual music magazines. He knows this shit. Mm-hmm. It's true. He knows what's happening in the music today in a way that neither of us do, really. Yeah. I think it's absolutely true. Nick Clarkson has said it's massively underrated. One of my favourite albums of all time.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, that's a big thing as well.
That is a big thing.
I know Nick, and I wouldn't have said that this sort of guitar music was necessarily his big thing. Yeah. He's into much more kind of weird dance stuff or rock stuff, but this is a brilliant album.
It certainly is. The Zeros, our friend Niall, and former formerly off this
My
parish,
guest, yes.
as people say. Trying to care less. No. Already hadn't any fucks to give. So I'm guessing that's a no from
I think
Niall.
that's a no from Niall. No, and I mean, I know Niall detests Britpop as well. Maybe he hadn't heard this in the same way that you hadn't, and has been changed by having heard it now. Maybe he hasn't. I do not know. We'll find out.
Yeah, interesting to know.
Thank you, Niall. Amy Rose says it's a banger of an album. I still have it on regularly.
Matt at Ogre Mail, never paid much attention until a few years later. Definitely has a few good tunes on it, although it's hard to argue it's particularly original. It's not. 2 to 1 is an absolute banger. Love the montage of cracking scenes in Trainspotting which feature it.
Right, yeah. No, I forgot it was in Trainspotting. I forgot that was on that soundtrack, yes. 2 to 1. It is a great song. Thank you for that, Matt. John Myers, our mate John, says, couldn't stand them at the time. Thought they were contrived, press-created bullshit that stole liberally from bands I loved. See also The Strokes. In hindsight, I was the worst kind of music snob, but I love them now. They were singles machines, and the album itself is an absolute banger. See also The Strokes.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I get why some people would be turned off by it at the time, especially if you did know Wire and the Stranglers really well, and you're like, oh, fuck these guys, they're ripping it off. I get it. You'd be pissed off, but I think the results justify the means on this. Chris Hall said, one of those formative musical experiences. I was 14 when it came out, and it felt like our own version of the cool US indie bands of the time. Not a bad track on there, even if some of the songs are straight up plagiarism. That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, Russell Perkins, big up Russ. Papaphone, be playing at Glastonbury this year. I love this album. Songs had such a groove.
Gaz Jones from True Cop Pop says, legendary singles, iconic album sleeve, crafty riff nicking, amazing Glastonbury performance, but the album is super patchy. Stutter is a fucking rager though, and one of the definitive Britpop singles, better than the Boo Radley's album, so at least there's that.
Thanks, mate. Jackie Myers, big up Jackie, and happy birthday for the other day.
Oh, yeah.
I love this band and all that they did right from the start. I still love them. I saw them at the Essential Festival and basically wanted to be in the band.
Oh, I can say, it must have been great to be, a teenager, early 20s girl in 1995, seeing Elastica do this and going, this is fucking better than all that boy lad shit that's going on, and having something you can actually look up to. That's wicked. Mark Scott says, I bought it on day of release and I still listen to it now. The second greatest Britpop era album after A Different Class. Lineup is a banger of a debut album opener, up there with Welcome to the Jungle. Ooh. Plus songs about erectile dysfunction and anal lube are generally pretty thin on the ground. Well, I think you'll find I've named quite a few, that you need to revisit, unless you delve into the subtext of Gary Barlow's lyrics.
Very good.
Yes,
very good.
love it.
Neil Meadowcroft can't contribute much to this, having only really heard the singles. However, I do know Steve Lamo-Lamack played a part in the band's early days, but doesn't like to talk about it.
No, he keeps that quiet.
Also believes a couple of songs were subject to plagiarism cases, so please look into that. We have.
Look into that. Oh, if you say so, Neil, certainly will.
We did.
Michael Ingleson, I fully believed the hype, loved the singles, thought the album was solid, saw them on the first tour in Leeds at the Duchess, pay on the door, queue stretched back a long way, probably the hottest in terms of temperature I've ever been at.
Wow.
Mental from minute one, amazing live band at that time. But then he goes on to say, I lost interest just as quickly as the rest of the band did after that first LP.
Wow.
And yeah, that's
well, there wasn't really much to dig your teeth into, really, was there?
Yeah.
Brendan Clark, despite being only 38 minutes long, there are still 3 or 4 songs you could easily get rid of. But I think 3
or 4 is maybe stretching it.
I think 3 or 4 is exactly where I'm at, actually.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. But it's full of great indie pop songs that hold up today. The singles are all great, especially Stutter, which should have been way bigger, but the stand-up for me has always been Never Here, with its bitter lyrics on the failed relationship. Saw them at the Sugar Mill in Stoke sometime in the 90s, and my main memory was selling my spare ticket to a tout for the princely sum of £1 British pound.
But he's with you on Never Here being his favourite.
Yeah, I think that's my favourite one, man.
Fair play. Team Ironmonger says, brilliant, I've been waiting for this. The other album was pretty good, to be fair. And I know that you've been waiting for this because you've been very keen to hear this. I hope it lived up to your expectations. I hope that we liked it as much as you do.
Yep, and next one, BPM Lab. I stretched my copy of this. Should have used some Vaseline.
There you go. Well, that's a lovely response. Thank you, everyone who got in touch about that.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Very cool.
Well, let's do our little breakdown of this. Obviously, Christy, you
love it.
You had the most invested. You've gone back,
Yeah,
and it's not disappointed.
Not at all. I remember loving it at the time, but I just never revisited in 20 years probably.
Yeah.
But going back into this, every single bit that I loved about it at the time hit me again.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. The songs that I was really into are still amazing. And there are some that I'd pretty much forgotten about, but came back after a couple of listens that I still think are great.
Yeah.
So impressed with this. Brilliant album.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as impressed by this as anything that we've listened to that I haven't had a previous relationship with.
Sure.
You know, the signs were there. I mean, the amount that I liked both those other singles. But yeah, you know, shit gets in the way, doesn't it? I love this.
Good.
I will seek this out. This is on
so
my
pleased.
This is on my vinyl wish list now.
I'm so pleased that the fact that you weren't into it at the time wasn't a factor. You were able to go, nope, this is good music.
It in no way changes my opinion on the Britpop stuff.
No. But like we've
I'm
said,
not, I'm not listening to this going, actually, this has made me feel like I was wrong about all the other bands. No, because this doesn't sound like those fucking bands.
It just doesn't.
It absolutely doesn't. I tell you, this feels like this could have been one of the biggest bands in the world.
I mean, if they reformed and did some shows, I think they'd be brilliant shows. Yeah, I don't think they ever will.
No,
but I think they could absolutely come back. Maybe write a new tune. Don't know. Don't really mind if they do or not. But I think if they did a tour on this album, it would be blinding.
Yeah. Fair fucks.
Yeah. Right. Well, here we go. Songs to put on the playlist.
Well, okay.
Here sometimes we struggle to do one. I'm going to assume there's probably going to be three.
Oh, I think we're doing three.
It's got to be three. It's the maximum of three.
I think we have, if 15-track album, songs as short as they are,
Yeah.
I think we have to do
Absolutely.
three.
So we've
all agreed Indian songs straight away.
3 times.
Yeah.
Okay, if you had your way, what are your 3?
It's an interesting question. We always get into the singles versus non-singles argument.
Sure.
Car Song is a pretty strong shout for me.
Fucking love Car Song. That's one of my absolute favourites.
Soft
is my other one that I would be like, those are the 2 I would want to fight for.
Okay, well, I mean, let's put them both on.
Okay.
Because those are the first 2 places I go.
So good, mate. So good.
You know, I would make a case for... You know,
Never Hear.
No, and Never Hear is where I would go next, 100%. I fucking love it.
I mean,
also make a case for 2 to 1,
Yes.
Vaseline,
Yes.
Blue.
Yes. So many.
Yeah.
So many good ones.
Yeah, Blue and both Connection and Waking Up.
Sure. Okay. Those are all great songs. I mean, I know I've said Never Hear isn't one of my favourites because it's not, but we've put my 2 favourites on there, Car Song and SOFT. I would also go Blue. I go Hold Me Now. I go 2 to 1, but I'm fine. If you Never Hear is your favourite, then fuck it, I don't see why we shouldn't put it on.
All right, cool, let's do that then.
So
and
those
you
3.
don't think we need to put on like one of the singles for people that don't know the band?
I don't think so. I would be very surprised if anyone who listens to our podcast and was there in the 90s realistically doesn't know Connection, for example.
Well, also those, if that is you, go and listen to those songs because they're great.
They are brilliant. But I think there are enough other songs that do more for me that I would like to include in the playlist.
Let's do that.
Well then,
that was an epic episode for a 40-minute album. I think.
Know, ridiculous.
But, so we're going to be back. We'll try and make it sooner. But we can never promise. And we've had a lot of fun, man. We've been to Berlin.
I know. We had a weekend in Berlin.
I've been to Leicester Comedy Festival.
Yeah,
like, massive shout out to Rob and his mates who came.
Oh yeah,
across.
you're the guy who came to your show because he listened to this podcast.
Mate,
or heard you on that.
Honestly, I was fucking
so cool.
I was doing work in progress show in Leicester Comedy Festival. It was a bit patchy, to be honest with you. I hadn't had a chance to work on it as much as I'd like to. But they came out and saw it. They were very complimentary. They were really, really nice people. Came all the way across from Nottingham to hang out. Meant the world to me. Thank you so much, guys, for coming out. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I'd say we were in Berlin. We hung out there. That was fun.
You did some comedy out there. I drank a lot of beers out there.
Yeah, I also drank some beers.
Indeed. And then we put on a club night in Brighton because it was my birthday.
Yep.
That was a full weekend of
Chris turned 35.
30, yeah, let's say that. Sure.
And yeah, we've had
So yeah, we've been busy. That's why we haven't put one out in a good while.
But we will be back, and we will be back with Radiohead.
We'll do one on the bands.
The bands.
Amazing. I'm looking forward to that.
And then afterwards, the podcast's over because we're not doing the big Radleys.
Radleys and wet.
Yeah, fuck me. Well, can we just get some more specials in? Anyway,
we'll just do Faith and More.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Anyway, right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. As always, please get in contact. Let us know how you felt on the socials. Yeah, it's fun to be back, and we'll try and get more of these out for you this year. Take it easy. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you for checking out this episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. It was produced and edited by us, for which we can only apologise. We are on Twitter at PCL Podcast, on Instagram also at PCL Podcast, and Facebook.com/PCL Podcast. All of these, plus links to our various Spotify playlists, etc., are on our website, which is PCLpodcast.com. Please feel free to get in contact via any of the social media or on PCLmusicpodcast@gmail.com.